All right, I am now going live, and I'm going to hop on over here to my channel and see if I can see it, and see if you guys can see it. I don't see it showing up here. No one else is here. I don't know what let's go to just live streams. Yes, it looks like I might actually be live now. So I am able to join in. We will see if anyone else is able to join in. So if you see this, hey. Hey, all right. Okay, you guys are here. So I have been talking to myself for about 5 to 8 minutes because apparently the first time I went live, it was unlisted, and so I was the only one who could see it. So I just kept waiting for people to join. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? How is your weather? I am in southern Missouri. It is rainy and cold and icky, and we've had so much rain recently that the ground is soggy and overloaded, so I was slogging around in mud. What do I farm? I farm mud. That's how it feels in Missouri this year. I'm going to try and pop out the live chat over here, and hopefully you guys are all still here. I see 4 people, so that's good. We might have a smaller group since I had a hard time getting started. People might think that I'm not here. All right, let's see about that. Okay, so let's see who's here so far. So Johnson Family Farmstead, hello. Stivers Homestead, hello. Jen, Alan, and thanks for your patience. If you're just joining, do you guys hear me? If you hear me, thumbs up, or say something in the chat so I know that the sound is good and all of that. So in a little while, I'm going to be talking about the 5-second rule, not the one when you drop food on the floor, but the one by Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is an author, a motivational speaker, and she talks a lot about brain science and how it works. So hello, Becky from Kansas City. Hello in Missouri. I'm sure you're wet just like I am. Oh, I need to apologize. I had somebody comment on my last live that in the middle of a thought, I say hi to whoever comes up on screen. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to finish a whole thought and then turn back and read. Okay, it shows I'm reconnected. Are you guys still here with me? I see it says 7 people still watching. So if you're still here, say something in the chat. So our weather, it might be weather related. It might be YouTube's been funny. So let's see. Well, the number is going up. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. So according to it's Jen, right, at Stivers Homestead, that YouTube's doing funny things, but you guys are here, had to close out and come back. It actually disconnected on my end, and I had to reconnect. So I'm glad for you, those of you who are still here. Okay, so back to my original question. Do any of you know who Mel Robbins is, and have you heard of her 5-second rule? And while you guys are responding to that, I'm going to show you something. This is a sneak peek for just you guys who are on right now. This will be coming out in a video in a couple weeks. We are building our house, some of you might know that, on my mother's property, and we have kept a lot of our furniture that we moved with us at her house, but it feels like our house is never going to be done, so we've been bringing down little bit by little bit, and I have brought in my desk. All right, you guys want to guess what's in this bag? Oh, you could probably tell from that. You could probably tell from that. Hello to those of you who are just joining. I apologize if I get disconnected again. I will try to reconnect. All right. Yes. Ashley for the winner. She got it typed up there first. Oops. Look at this. Look at this. And look at, let's see, where's the Look at all of these. And look, I even found, and what's this called? A pocket seed vault. So I kind of like score, but then I started looking at the back of them, and some of them are dated. This one's 2016, so these are the newer ones, and some were as old as 2011, but lots of them are unopened. So I'm going to have a fun time this year. I have purchased a little bit of seed. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you guys are still there. Sorry, it's got to be the weather around here. It's that or YouTube. I'm not sure. So for everybody who's just joining, I'm having connectivity problems here today. But every time it does, I hit the little button and then I pray and cross my fingers that we come back. So that was a little sneak peek for seeds. There's something else I want to show you. Those of you probably know that I'm doing a Three Sisters garden this year. Three Sisters garden is corn, and then you plant pole beans and it climbs the corn, and then you plant squash and pumpkin around it and it shades out the roots, and it's supposed to help with weeds and all of that. Last weekend I was at I think it's an Amish seed store, it might be Mennonite. They deal exclusively in non-GMO seeds. I stayed on the organic aisle, and I spent a lot of time picking out some sweet corn, some pole beans, and some squash. And then I got home and I was doing my unboxing video. So you guys are getting a lot of sneak peeks here. I was doing my unboxing video, or my opening. I had some other things that I got. And as I was going through, realized, can you guys see that word right there? These are not pole beans. These are not pole beans at all. These are bush beans. And last year, my back was killing me by the time I picked all my bush beans. So I want to know if anyone out there has some organic non-GMO pole beans and you want to do some kind of seed swap for some bush beans. I think what happened, I was talking to Chris, because when I was doing the video, I was like, what? Bush beans? How did that happen? And I think what happened is I had looked at all the different varieties of beans. I had finally settled on, I think they might have been Kentucky Wonder or something like that, that I had heard would do really well. And I was looking at the half-pound bag and realized it was only $1 less, or like $1.50 more, to get the whole pound of beans. And so I swapped them out, and I don't think I checked, and I think I swapped out for bush beans instead of pole beans. So, all right, Ashley, on my end, I show that I'm connected well right now. So anybody else? All right, let's see. I'm going to read a couple of little bits of comments, and then we're going to get into the 5-second rule, which is what tonight's video is supposed to be about. And like I said, I'm going to try to do the proper etiquette and talk, and then look at comments and try not to talk and go, oh, hi, so-and-so, in the middle of a sentence. I know that can be a bit distracting. Let's see. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully you guys are all still hanging in here. Thanks for your patience. Okay, let's see. So most people have not heard of Mel Robbins. Most people have not heard of her 5-second rule, which has nothing to do with food. Is it rainy and windy? Yes, it is rainy and windy. We are in a high wind warning, actually, so it's crazy. Hello to everybody who's here. Let's see what we've got. Everybody's in the house today. Thank you. Hi, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about Mel Robbins and her 5-second rule. So basically, now she knows all the brain science behind it. She's written a whole book about it. She has a YouTube channel, so feel free to go research a lot more. And when I do live chats, I like to kind of think of it as an actual chat, that we are sitting down over a cup of coffee or across the table and we're hanging out, and I'm just kind of sharing my heart with you guys, what I've been learning, what's going on in my homestead, and what's going on in my personal life. So I like it to be a real dialogue. I hope to see comments and questions in the chat, and if you would, make sure that you either all caps what you're going to say to me rather than just everybody else, or several question marks before and after so that I really know it's for me. Otherwise, I just kind of glance through. So, deep breath. My understanding of her 5-second rule is it's a way to reset your mind, to stop what your mind is going towards and to reset it. And it works because it changes your thinking from one part of your brain to the something cortex. Sorry, I knew the parts earlier, but I have already forgotten what she said. When she was talking about it, it's like, oh, yeah, I recognize that, you know, when I listen to her, when I read about it. But then later I'm like, I don't remember. So she talks about how, let's say that you want to change a habit of, well, a fear that you have. So, for instance, if you have a fear of public speaking, and your body response to fear, your physiological response to fear is the same as it is to excitement. You get sweaty palms, maybe you get a little butterflies in your tummy, you get your heart races a little bit, you might get a little bit flushed. Same exact physiological response. The difference is what your brain is telling you. So when you are at the amusement park and you're like, cannot wait to get on this brand new roller coaster, it's going to be so exciting, you feel all those same physiological things. Your brain is saying you're excited. When you want to, you're going to have to present at work or something, and you stand up and you're getting ready to enter the presentation, you're not sure, you don't like standing in front of people, you know, then your brain, your body feels the same way, but your brain is like, you know, so-and-so's looking at me weird. Does that mean that they're judging what I'm saying? Are they not liking this presentation? We start doing all this self-talk, right? And so she says that when you hear those thoughts in your head start, that you say in your head, not out loud because that would probably be weird, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that counting backwards clicks into a different part of your brain, and it stops that wherever your brain was going, the habitual way that your brain goes. And then it stops it, and then you refocus. And there's a couple different methods that she has to refocus for fear. She talks about having an anchor thought. And so she talks about, so if you're, let's say it's the public speaking thing, then your anchor thought is going to be, how am I going to feel when I'm finished with this presentation and my colleague comes up and says, you did a really great job, right? So you imagine that, how that would feel like. So then when you're seeing the, and wait, okay, I'm back. So you're seeing the look on the other person's face, you're starting to go down that track of interpreting it, you stop, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your head, imagine that anchor scene, and then you go and you tell yourself, this is gonna be great, right? And your brain, I'm excited to give this presentation, I'm excited to share this new information with my coworkers, and your brain actually, you can trick your brain into thinking you're excited rather than fearful because the physiological symptoms are the same. Okay, thanks. I'm going to stop for 1 second. All right, 2 wild onions. Thank you. Is your email listed on your about page somewhere or in your description of your videos? I will go look for it, and we will talk later. Thank you for that. All right. So, now, but you can use this same thing for what I want to do, which is I want to get out of bed on time. So I am not a snoozer. I actually most mornings am awake before my alarm clock ever goes off. My body naturally wakes up pretty early, usually sometime, well now, it used to be like 6:37, but now it's a little bit earlier than it used to be. But what I do is I lay in bed, and I might just like kind of hang out in bed on my phone, or just laying there thinking about my day or how cold it is outside the bed and how cozy it is in the bed. you know, I mean, one day it was almost an hour before I actually got out of the bed. And then later I was like, why did I do that? That was a whole hour of my day. I wasn't being productive. And there are things, there are going through the day and preparing yourself, but not for an hour of looking at YouTube and Instagram and Facebook or whatever. It's just not what I want to do. And um, there's also something to hitting the day, getting started right away. I don't know if it's Mel Robbins or somebody else, another video I was watching, but they were talking about if you win that first hour, you win the day. That if you get up right away in your day and you're productive, that is also a tool to train your mind to be productive throughout the day rather than to procrastinate. That when you hit the snooze button, it's telling your brain it's okay to put things off. So I know this isn't exactly a homesteading topic, but many of you are probably like me and busy on the homestead and busy with things off the homestead. And so this, I feel that I have had some wasted hours in my day just by hanging out on the bed. And I want to take advantage of those hours. So Mel Robbins, who has the 5-second rule, says when you wake up, you do the same thing. You feel yourself go, oh, I'm just gonna, and then you stop mid-sentence, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you get up. You get up out of bed and you start your day. So that is a way to change the habit of procrastination. Or you can use it if you want to change your eating habits. And let's say you usually are a sweet tea drinker and you feel yourself, you know, going to get the sweet tea, and then you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you do something different. So she says it's really interesting that to me it's really interesting. She says you have to tie the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to something new. That you can't actually stop a habit, you have to replace it with a different habit, because it's behaviors that are repeated so often that they become your natural go-to. I don't know all the brain science behind this. I have not studied all the psychologist reports and, you know, the medical reports and all that. I am simply telling you what I've been learning about because I think it's interesting. So I'm going to try it. And for me, the thing that I want to change is coasting along. My husband's grandmother is 90 years old. And we saw her last summer, and so we were talking about, you know, she doesn't work. She still teaches a Sunday school class. She still rakes her own leaves. She still cleans her own house. She's pretty amazing. And we were talking, you know, she's like, yeah, I don't really have much to get up for in the morning. There's nothing I have to do, but I just don't like snoozing. And I said, well, I don't usually sleep, but I usually just lay there thinking about stuff. She goes, yeah, I call that coasting. So I want to change that habit of coasting. I want to actually use that time more productively. So that's something I want to change. So what I want to ask you guys right now, if you would be so bold to put in the comments, what's something, anything, what's an attitude that you have? You know, if you have a particular response to a family member, and when they do something, it triggers that emotional response in you. You can't change that, probably. You can't change the trigger, but you can always control your behavior afterwards. So maybe when you feel that start to rise up, you can 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then start with a new behavior. So let's see who's here. And I'm going to take a second and read the comments and see what you guys are talking about. Oh, my friend Liz says she loves mornings. The first hour or so is wonderful. I see a couple people saying it's tough to get out of bed. Green Jean Project says it's tough to get out, but I can't hang out there in the morning. Elizabeth from Branscombe Farm says, I have to get up or I'll be late for work. 5:30 a.m. up or I will not get chores done and both kids ready for school. Yep. All right. Let's see. All right. I see that I lost it. I saw somebody said, Oh, Rainbow Valley Ranch says, I could handle criticism of my children better. Ooh, that's a tough one. When the mama bear gene kicks in. Yeah, it's hard to handle that well. Liz says, Mr. J eating noisy cookies winds me up. I could do with being more gracious about him snacking. Oh, that's funny. Wendy says, I love to get a cup of coffee and head outside to enjoy the birds chirping. I do too when the weather's nicer. Remind me where you live, Wendy. I think you must live a little somewhere warmer. Are you in Arizona? I forget. Must be somewhere. A little nicer than the rest of us right now. I'm not going out to sit in the weather that we have been having. Indiana? What? No, it's not warm there. Do you go outside in the wintertime too? Hello, Rough Hewn Homestead. Thanks for joining us. In Oregon, it's 68 next week. Nice. You do. Wow. All right. So for those of you who had something in mind, do you think you can try this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing? I'm going to try it. I'm going to commit to you, my friends, who are sitting with me here tonight for the next week. I'm going to, when I wake up, I'm going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up out of bed and get going. And I will report back next Wednesday on how that goes for me. All right. What, Jen, what did you say what you were going to work on? I don't know if I saw that. All right. I'm trying to remember some of the other things that I've been listening to Mel talk about. Can't think of anything right now. J-Dog said inside day. Yes, Jen, do the dishes. That's right. Yeah, any of those kind of things. It's great. Let's see. I know there were some other takeaways that I want to share with you. I didn't write them down. I listen to a lot of these things while I drive. I listen to self-improvement. I love to watch the other homesteading channels, but not when I'm driving because I want to see what they're doing. They're working on projects. So when I'm driving, I often am listening to self-improvement type channels. And then when I can sit down and actually look at the screen, then I watch more of you guys. Oh, Danny, I wanna speak to what Danny's saying right now. She says, not throwing a fit myself when my kids throw a fit. I need to be an example. So I'm going. Okay, I'm back. Danny, I think that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe in, breathe out, let it go. It doesn't matter that much is great. That's actually something very great to say. And maybe you can have an anchor thought of what it's going to feel like to be happy and be patient with your kids. Okay, so I'm going to share a story about when I was a mom. I still am a mom, but when I had a mom experience where I was standing outside myself, watching my head spin around and fire come out my ears. And so I'm just going to share it. My daughter was 5 years old. She's now 19. And she did not want to wear shoes. And I was trying to get ready to go, of course, to Bible study. And I needed to drop her off at preschool. She started when she was 5. She started preschool. And she kept kicking her shoes off. And I finally picked up the shoes and I threw them against the wall as hard as I could. And I started doing this on her legs. Not really hard, but like bap, 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 bap. And I said, you will wear the shoes I put on your feet. You will not kick them off. You will do what I say. And she looked at me and she wasn't crying. I wasn't hurting her, but I was, doing that on her legs. And she said, Mommy, you're playing my legs like a bad drum. And I was a mess. I lost it. I'm sure I started sobbing. I don't know if I started sobbing right then, but I hugged her and I was just like, I really had an out-of-body experience where I'm like, what in the world are you doing to this poor little child? Why are you doing this? And I got her to school, and I got to my Bible study, and I walked in, and my friend saw me, and she just like could see I was ashen. She's like, "What's the matter?" And so I told the whole story, and she said, "You became a 5-year-old arguing with a 5-year-old. You have to remember who's the parent and who's the child." And that always stuck with me. Thank you, Danny. Yes. Human, but not the kind of mom I wanted to be at all. And but that experience helped me to learn to try and reframe, which is what the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is. So yeah, so thank you all for sharing that you have been there and that you've had that similar experience. It's really it's frightening how much these little humans, what they can bring out of us, and not that it's their fault. I mean, it's something in me that came out of me, but you know, I wouldn't do that to anyone else who was behaving in that manner, you know. So yeah, I can see how using this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 could have helped me in that instance. Let's see, what else could we use it for? We could use it for, this morning I have been trying to do a stretch routine every morning. I found a morning yoga stretch video, and it's 10 minutes long, and I've had semi-success. I've probably, out of 5 days, I've probably done 3 out of 5 days. And today I was laying there coasting along, and I was like, why did I set my alarm that early? I don't even know, because my alarm had gone off. And then I was like, oh, I'm supposed to get up and stretch. And I was like, no, I got to get up, got to do it right away, got to do it. So yeah, so we're going to make those changes, guys. For exercise, for it could be a gardening task that's not your favorite, or a homestead task even that you've been putting off. It could be lots of stuff. Llewellyn Kane says, I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at the end of work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am out of here. I am out of here. Exactly. Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, so we still have a little bit of time left if there's anything that you guys want to talk about. We talked about replacing a habit with a different habit rather than just trying to quit. That if you have a habit of talking one way, and then with your children, of interacting, of responding to something they do in a certain way, then have an action plan. So the next time that little frustration comes up with your children, how are you going to respond instead? Deciding that ahead of time is probably a good idea. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do the new action. Let's see. Elizabeth says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spring break. Yeah. Let's see. I did a very, very beginner's yoga workout. I am badly out of shape, and my joints are all achy and tired, and I don't want to live that way. So that's why I picked this yoga. And I picked one with just the movements in it, with none of the spiritual aspects of it. That's my personal choice to not follow those. And but it's amazing how much a 10-minute beginner stretch yoga, morning yoga stretch, whatever it's called, makes me feel like it did a workout, like my shoulders. So I did that this morning, and then I went to a job, and at the job I sat for 2 hours. When I stood up from the job, my hips hurt so bad, and I was like, what in the world did I do? And I was like, oh yeah, I stretched them this morning. That's how tight all my joints are. It's ridiculous. And you wouldn't think I would be, because of all that activity we do on the farm. I'm hauling feed, and I'm digging in the garden, I'm pushing a wheelbarrow. I'm active, but my muscles are pretty tight. Oh, there is something else I wanted to say. If one of my moderators could go to my playlists and find the one about Papa's Log Cabin and put a link to that for everybody. You guys are getting another sneak peek, something else that no one else knows about yet. Well, outside, you know, like my family. This weekend, we are going to my in-laws' cabin in the woods in Oklahoma. My father-in-law is amazing. He retired about 5 years ago. They moved to Oklahoma to the land where he grew up. We call it the farm. The whole extended family calls it the farm. And he is building what he calls his pioneer log cabin because it's not from a kit. He didn't buy wood. He's chopping down the trees on his own property. And he's building this log cabin by hand. And we have been taking video of it as it goes along, and it has evolved. It was a 1-room 20 by 20 with a loft, and then he added on a bathroom and a laundry room on the back, and now it has 2 bedrooms added on. He's working on the 2nd bedroom, but it's like a wing on the side. It's absolutely beautiful. It's amazing what this man who's in his 70s is building. So the playlist brings through it. Thank you, Liz and Jen, for putting that on there. So I really suggest you guys go and watch those because this weekend we're going to be doing an update, and then that'll come out in the next couple weeks. I have a couple videos in the pipeline. So right now I have a new video that comes out every Saturday at 5:30, and then my live on Wednesdays. I'm getting to the point, I think, where I might be able to squeeze in another one a week if I can make the time for editing. Maybe if I get up that hour early in the morning, I'll have time to do the editing. I would really like to do that, to go to twice a week, but if I don't, then the log cabin one will probably be in a week or 2 before it comes up. Also, please, would you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already? If you're here and you've stuck with me, I'm going to assume you like the content. I do videos about pretty much homesteading stuff, animals, DIY projects, and gardening. This year I'm focusing on a kitchen garden. I'm going to plant those seeds that I have. I'm starting a rabbitry in April. We have heifers that are going to have calves. They've been bred. Hopefully they're going to have calves in the fall. Lots of fun stuff going on the homestead. So I would really love it if you subscribed and you check back with me every week. So I'm going to stop and take a look at the comments and see what's going on out here. All right, let's see. All right. Does not look like messages for me. So, I'm trying to think of some other principles that we could talk about. We talked about an anchor thought. We talked about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We talked about replacing a habit you don't want to have with a habit you do want to have. And like I said, I want to give credit to Mel Robbins. This is her method of doing this. So be sure and check out her YouTube channel. Be sure and check out her book, her podcast, whatever you're interested in. And thank you, Johnson family, for subscribing. And that's about it. I guess we'll probably end a little bit early tonight just because there's no need for you guys just to sit here and watch me think about stuff to talk about. We've talked about what we came to talk about. And I'm sorry, it looks like we finally have the connection cleared up. It must have stopped raining outside. The storm must have blown past. It was pretty nasty earlier. High winds and stuff. All right. So any last comments or questions for me before I end the live chat? All right, I guess that's it. Oh, Jay, Grateful Soonite says, how are the rabbit preps coming along? I have a cage pretty much built, and that's about it. I have decided where I want them and how I'm going to house them, but I'm building cages still. So that's where we're at with that. You saw where I saw Kip at Walmart. Yep. Yeah, there's lots of good homesteaders around here, for sure. For sure, for sure. Oh, something else that I'd like to announce. I don't know if you guys were here before. I see a lot of people are already starting to log off. Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival is May 6th and 7th, I think. And, well, guess what, Jay? I'm about to say. For those of you who are going to be at the Spring Planting Festival, it goes Sunday, Monday. Sunday evening, I will be hosting a fire pit at my house. Any of you who want to come are welcome. So you'll need to find me at Baker Creek to get, I'll have paper with directions to my house. And I'm just going to have it open for anyone who wants to come and hang out. It'll be at Baker Creek. It's really busy and everybody's, you know, listening to the talks or shopping, and it's a little bit more not as easy to just hang out there and kind of chill. So it's going to be just kind of chill evening to hang out and talk YouTube, talk homesteading, talk family. So anyone who would like to come is welcome. But you won't be there on Sunday, but you could come. I can get you directions, Jay. That's fine. If you would like to come Sunday evening to my home, you're welcome. You're more than welcome. Yeah, I usually don't miss church on Sundays. It's actually very rare that I'm not in church on Sunday, but that's the one day a year that I go to something else, unless I'm on vacation or something. All right, so I hope to see many of you there. I hope to see you all next Wednesday, 5:15 Central, 6:15 Eastern, and all the different 10:30 GMT until they change their time, and then it'll be 11:15, not 11, not 10:30. Scattered. Thanks you guys for watching, and we will talk to you next week. And be sure to check out videos on Saturday evenings.